kill your video as well. We have some, Dr. Tennant's just smiling at me. He's like, I want you guys to see me. Good to see you, Dr. Tennant. We're going to use the raise hand function if when you have questions. If that doesn't work for you, come back on the video and throw your hand up in the video and we'll recognize you, okay? And with that, I introduced two city staff that are on this call. Allison Woods, one of our GIS technicians, and she's helping us with managing the Zoom call this evening. And then I will call it your master of ceremonies this evening is Steve Galanti, a division manager with the city of Greensboro. Well, hello, that was full. Steve is gonna share his, give you a brief introduction and we'll get started. And we don't have a lot in presentation because we wanna save enough time for everyone to have for questions or discussion and as we move through this next 90 minutes. So with Steve, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Great, thank you, Sue. Let me start sharing my screen here so we can get things rolling. And again, being new to this technology, can everyone see my screen? Yep. Little thumbs up.
Yes.
All right, great. All right, welcome to our information session for the Airport Overlay District, or changes to our regulations. I want to start out first with an agenda to kind of lead us through what we're going to be talking about this afternoon. First, as you know, we did the welcome and Sue introduced the staff. What I'm going to be doing is going over what is an overlay district and why we're using it for the airport overlay, and what are the regulations associated with the airport overlay district. And then I will go into the changes we're going to be making to those districts. And as part of this information session, we're going to open it up for the folks who are participating to ask questions and make comments on these changes. And then after that session, then we'll go in, I'll tell you what the next steps are and how we'll move forward with this change. First off, an overlay district is an extra set of regulations that we place on a particular boundary of property within the city of Greensboro. As an example, and it's typically it's a boundary of the district, all of the properties in that boundary have something in common. And that item that is in common is the focus of the regulations. As an example, we have historic districts, which are an overlay district. And obviously the houses that are, or buildings that are in the historic district all have some historic value. And the overlay district is set up so that any changes to the aesthetics or the outside, the facades of those houses is reviewed through the Historic Preservation Committee. We did something very similar with the airport overlay. There is a district or a set of properties out near the airport that all have something in common, and that is the noise impacts from the aircraft that is landing and taking off from the airport. As part of the overlay district, we've established the boundary, and we are currently using the noise cone that has been established by the airport as part of their Part 150 study. And that study was done in, let me back up. The original map that we're using, the noise cone that we're using now, was done in 2002. And since then, the airport has updated their Part 150 study, and there's a new set of maps which show a different noise cone, and that's why we're kicking off this process. In the current noise cone, we limit the uses to those that are compatible with the noise that is generated from the airport. And the most important that you'll see on the screen before you, the land use that we prohibit, is going to be the residential uses, the high density residential uses, which for this presentation, I'll be going over and talking about single family subdivisions, apartment complexes, and townhouse developments. Our current regulations require that you get approval from the airport for any buildings or structures that are over 50 feet. And you'll see the residential prohibition. We do prohibit residential uses within the boundary of this airport overlay district, except for very low density subdivisions, which are single family houses on lots of at least 40,000 square feet. And those are our current regulations. Like I said previously, we're using a map from 2002, which was included in the airport area plan that was adopted by the county. And we're using the 60 DNL line from that map. The 60 DNL line represents a 24-hour average noise evaluation. Again, this is done by the airport. Depending on the types of aircraft, the airport operations, and several other factors, in order to calculate what they call a day-night average over a 24-hour period, the land that will hear noises on the average of 60 decibels. You'll see on the map there's two lines. There's also a 65 decibel line on there. According to the FAA, all land uses are compatible under 65 DNL. And like I said previously, the airport has done, in 2007, updated their Part 150 study, and there is a new noise cone out there that they have created as part of that study, 60 DNL line, like we've been talking about. And the 60 DNL line from their new study has gotten smaller. So we have started this process to amend our ordinance to reflect that change. So you can see on the map on the screen before you, our proposal is to actually divide our current overlay district into two zones, a zone 1 and a zone 2. Zone 1 will be the 60 DNL line from the 2007 study, and the regulations will be exactly the same as the current airport overlay district. Again, notification of the airport for structures and the prohibition on single family. The second district, be zone 2, will be the area between that noise cone and the boundary of our current overlay district. Within that area, we're going to set up a different set of regulations and relax the residential restrictions in that area. The first part of the new regulations would be a public notification section. We will require the landowners to notify any potential buyers that the land inside Zone 2 can be impacted by aircraft noise. And we'll also have a note, and you can see it on the screen in front of you, for including in those notifications and on any plats that are recorded in the Guilford County Register of Deeds. The second set of regulations has to do with noise level reduction. If a new house or apartment or a townhouse is to be constructed in Zone 2, the builder will need to use construction techniques and materials to actually reduce the outside noise heard inside the dwelling. The third part of this change to our regulations is to specify there's a provision in there for when the noise cone line splits a parcel. In this case, it will be the Zone 2, the outer boundary of Zone 2. In that case, there are provisions that the zone line will actually move. There is a caveat: it cannot move more than 600 feet and it cannot encroach into Zone 1. Again, with this provision, we realize that the outer boundary of the noise cone is a line and it is not a boundary. So you do not, if you step over 1 foot on the other side of the line, the noise does not disappear. There is still going to be noise impacts even along that boundary of that line. We're started this change to our land development ordinance, and we're in the public outreach section of our program here. Just want to let you know we've had actually released a press release and have made contact with the media, and hopefully you've seen some of those efforts. We've met with the airport and major landowners out in the area and the Chamber of Commerce and talked with them about these changes. If you get a chance, please visit our website. You can go to the City of Greensboro's homepage and type in /AOD for Airport Overlay District. And we have a web page full of information. We even have a short video to explain the changes. We're going to be holding 2 public information sessions. This is the first one. The second one will be on Tuesday, October 27th. We're going to be mailing out notices to affected property owners, and we'll be publishing something in the newspaper to let you know of the public hearing dates. That completes my presentation on the changes to the airport overlay district. I'd like to now open it up if anyone has any questions or comments they would like to make on these changes. And
Actually,
again, as Sue said, if you would use the raise your hand function, it should be in the bottom of your screen, and we'll recognize you. And if you would, please address your comments to the staff. I'll take care of it and see if I can get you your answers.
okay, Steve, this is, if you could put the map back up, if that's possible, just so people can get, because that's an awful lot in 15 minutes for folks to digest of what all we're talking about. And although the first perfect question in the chat, how do I know if my current home lies in the overlay district, either 1 or 2? And so,
There you go.
and how this will impact future sales of my property.
One way to do that is to visit our website. On the right-hand side of our website, we have an interactive map. You can type in your address and it will give you the location on the map and let you know whether you're in zone 1, in zone 2, or if you're located outside the airport overlay district.
What's the URL? So the City of Greensboro's website is greensboro-nc.gov. When you open that up, go into the search and just at the top search engine at the top and just say AOD, Airport Overlay District, and it'll, there you go, and it'll open up for you. Is that the web page?
That is the web page.
Okay.
And up in the upper left-hand corner, I don't know if you can see it on your screen, but there's a place for you to type in your address, and we'll bring it up on the map and show you. On this map, zone 1 is in green and zone 2 is in the pink color.
If my land is in a split line area, do I need to disclose it before I sell it? I mean, if your land is in a split area, it's already in. So I would imagine it's all the information, even if we don't change it now, that's, I'm not sure what all the rules are in real estate, but there is an airport over there that people will be aware of. I mean, it's not like it's a small municipal airport. So I'm not sure, I'm not an attorney and can't advise you on the legalities of that. One of the issues is in this case is we are, if you are in the district, in these overlay districts, that there is notification, there is identification in for any new development on their site plans, on their recorded plats. What else, Steve?
It's usually when you're working with a realtor, there is certain items that they have to disclose. It's required by law, and this will be added to that list. So your realtor will know how to take care of that.
Steve, Michael has his hand raised. Sorry, Sue.
Yes, got a question. If I'm in zone 1, does my noise level stay the same? The way I'm looking at it, in zone 2, they're allowing 5 more decibels. Is that correct?
Actually, the area that we're going to be using for zone 1 is the 60 decibel line from the airport study. That's going to be the green area that we have on the map. The zone 2, which is going to be the area between that and our current boundary, was the 60 DNL line back in 2002. So no, we're still using the 60 decibel line for.
And it might be helpful to know, like, what has changed, like, why are you changing this now? And so in 2002 there were a lot of 737s, larger aircraft, different types of aircraft, all these things that contribute to noise. And what's happened over the years is, one, engines have gotten quieter. That does not mean you won't hear them, but they've gotten quieter. So there's more regional jets, they're less often, there's a certain restriction on when they come in. So, and every now and then it's an average decibel. So they sometimes will be louder, sometimes not. But this is, the measurement is from their noise study about where the boundaries are. And what we are doing is reducing it, but not as much. We're allowing the airport some growth so that there should they require, say, a different manufacturer or some other airlines or routes, that we don't scale it back so much, then we have a different problem with the noise cone. So it allows for growth, but opens up new areas for possibility. Zone 2 bisects my property. Is my property's, is it considered zone 2 or exempt? And Steve may have to look that up for you and dig for you, but that's the question.
Right. The split zone regulations that I was describing in my presentation is if the outer boundary, you're looking at the screen, the outer boundary of the zone 2 splits your parcel, then yes, your parcel would be considered out, except you got to remember there's the caveat that this line cannot move more than 600 feet and it cannot encroach into zone 1. So depending on how large your property is, yes, some of it may be outside of zone 2. We also have a chat from someone. I've emailed them back and forth over the past couple of days, and they wanted me to share my answer to their question with everyone. And it had to do with the airport's acquisition plans. This change to our airport overlay district, it does not have any impact on how the airport acquires property or their plans for acquiring property. These changes to the airport overlay district only have to do with development regulations for property that is developed inside this noise cone.
Steve, Michael has his hand raised.
Michael again?
Yes. Oh,
I had a question, but I think we just found it. I was going to ask Sue if she would tell us that website again.
It's www.greensboro-nc.gov. That's the city's main webpage. And then just there's a search engine, just type in AOD, Airport Overlay District, and we'll see what you should be able to pull it up.
Okay, thank you. Let's see.
Hey everybody, this is Donna Bell. How are you all?
I was just typing you a note saying I saw your hand up earlier and was making sure we didn't miss you.
Yeah, I was just waiting for some of the conversation to end. So I'm here just for the school district's information, because we received the notice about the changes, the proposed changes for the overlay district. I've located Coronado Middle School and I've located Colfax Elementary School, which appear to be outside of the overlay district boundaries. And so I just wanted to kind of verify with you all that the impact from everything I've read and what I've heard today is basically the potential for some increased residential development that could occur, that couldn't occur previously. And so from the school district's perspective, I was just trying to find out if there's any other impacts that we should be aware of, other than trying to accommodate some more students that may come along with those new homes that are built in those areas that previously only allowed a very low density.
Yes, so relaxing the residential restrictions that are going to be in the area I'm showing is zone 2 on the maps. Yes, there will be a larger potential for families to live in that area with children. And yes, it will affect your enrollment at the school system.
Got it. Thank you, though. I just wanted to make sure in terms of location, if any of the schools were affected by the zone changes, the overlay district changes. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Donna.
Thanks.
Good to hear from you.
Good to hear from you guys too, even if it is on Zoom with everybody these days.
Any other questions? I know we went through this kind of fast, and it's a lot to absorb. Actually, Steve, is there a way to play the video from the website by any chance on Zoom?
I can give it a try.
We're trying every medium we can to communicate to help folks understand what's going on, because it takes a couple of times to go to read through it, because it's not something you deal with every day.
Let's see if I can. It's not giving me the option of sharing that particular screen for some reason. There we go.
Okay. Can you blow it up? There you go. Oh, it's not doing the noise. What volume is it?
It may not.
It may not. Okay, so just see, this is to entice you. There's a cool and groovy video there to help explain. So hopefully get in there, and with our FAQs, there's a whole, actually this is a good way to, if you just walk through the site so folks know when they're going through different things that we have available for information.
Right. This is a, you're actually looking live at our website for these changes to our overlay district. As I said, if you want to look up and see if your property is being affected, we have an interactive map on this side. We have lots of information on here, and some of the information is actually in the form of frequently asked questions. So we have those questions out there, and you can click on them to get the answers.
And then we invite you to see look at the video, because it's pretty cool. So Dr. Tennant, did I see a message you wanted to say something?
You did, and I just so as a participant and vice chairman of the Citizen Advisory Committee, and also that's for this Part 150 study that's actually in its last stages currently going on, and as a land owner here in this area, and I guess a newspaper celebrity now, thanks to Steve, but so I'm opposed to the AO2 zone, and I don't think it has the scientific merit. I think it represents airport overreach. I think that it goes back to 2002. It's a little disingenuous to not mention in things that, in fact, the 2020/25 study that was done before COVID-19 actually has all of these restrictions dramatically reduced from 2007. So in fact, building in extra overlay and extra security for the potential of growth at the airport is already more than generous in the 2007 study. And in some part, while the restrictions have been lifted by the overlay, you've created basically restrictions by regulation. And those regulations increase expense of building in this zone that basically adversely affected as far as property values outside this noise cone. And so I won't belabor the fact, and I'm more than happy to discuss any aspect of all of this. And I just wanted to register that without getting too far into it.
Well, as always, Dr. Tennant, we appreciate your participation. The public hearings will be, Steve, the dates are what, November 17th?
I have those in the presentation.
And so that'll be important for you to have your input at that point. So maybe this is a good point to explain about what happens next, since Dr. Tennant has brought this up. So do you have a slide for next steps?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
So the next step, going to zoning commission, it's the third Monday of the month, November 16th. It is our intention to hold public hearing and receive public comments. The zoning commission will be making a recommendation to the city council. These are our proposals. This is, council has the final say of boundaries and regulations, etc. This is what we felt was reasonable and protection for future generations. Then the city council has the final vote on schedule of December 15th for that discussion. So both of those are public hearings to register your concerns, your feedback on the districts and their boundaries. Steve mostly, because he is the project manager for this, to answer questions, things that come up after you get this and you're like, wow, why didn't I ask this? Steve's email, a lot of you have it from registering for this event, and so we can help and keep any questions informed, or you've talked to your neighbors and they didn't hear about this and they wanted you, give them Steve's email address and we will get you all the information we have, get them to the website. And that's part of what this part, we don't usually do this with zoning regulations, but this is, whoops. So I see Mr. Robbins. So Steve, I'll let you address that in a minute.
Yeah, and Sue, a lot of folks have been asking about the split parcel provisions.
Here you
I
go.
do have a couple slides and I'll show and try to
Okay.
explain that a little more. One of the properties located out within Zone 2, which is this pink area, is on Cheswick Drive. And as you can see, that property is completely within the boundary of Zone 2. So the split parcel provision would not apply to this parcel. We also have one that's out on Lewiston Road, 3503. And I wanted to show this as a good example because you can see the outer boundary of Zone 2 actually splits the parcel. So then the line could be shifted. So this parcel could be considered out. But like I said, you can't go more than 600 feet or into Zone 1. In this case, moving the line, I have the measurement up here on our GIS system, it's only 270 feet. So this parcel would be considered outside of the boundary of Zone 2. So it would be outside the airport overlay district. I hope that helps explain this split zone provision.
I think it helps illustrate as kind of a case by case basis, but that's again what
Yes.
we can talk through. When you look at your property, oh my gosh, what does this mean for me? We can walk through it with you. Are there
We
any
have
other?
two chats.
Okay.
Yes, and I think that is the property, the 270 is the property I brought up on the screen, I believe. It shows that, yes, 30 feet. We have a chat out there that the 30 feet is in and 270 is out. So yes, the line would move in that case.
You also have, if you are in Zone 2 and want to renovate or build an addition, will you be held to a more stringent standard than those outside the zone?
No, the existing buildings that are located within these two zones would be grandfathered. So you'd be allowed to do that repair.
Any other questions, thoughts, comments? I'm assuming everyone has the information, the email, then they can, and the website now that I guess, actually, Allison, can you put the website into the chat so folks can download it from there, please? And that way we'll just triple make sure you have it. Okay, everybody see it? Yes, give her a few minutes to copy that for your own use.
We
Okay,
do have a
Steve,
chat.
you've got,
Yep.
Can you
please check my property at 2031 Fleming Road.
I've typed that address in and I'm not showing that address on,
2031. Fleming.
right, 2031. Yep. Okay, yes, that's going to be a good example. Now let's see if I can share. There we go. The location of the property is in this location, and you can see that part of it is in zone 1 and part is in zone 2. And again, this will be with the split parcel provision that this outer boundary of the airport overlay district, yes, can shift. But keep in mind, it cannot move more than 600 feet. So yes, some of this lot located at this location would be considered outside the airport overlay district. And I've lost the chat. There we go.
It's hard without the property lines on it,
They're very faint.
but they are.
Yeah.
And actually, is that Dr. Harmouche? Is that
Yes, that is him.
Dr. Hamouche, if maybe if this doesn't answer your questions, you and Steve can talk offline tomorrow or through email. We can get that more clearly defined for you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I don't want to prolong this if others don't have questions. You know where you can find information. We've given you the dates for the public hearings and information in between. So anything at all, please question, but I didn't think of this, give us a call, give us an email, and we want to get you accurate information as soon as possible. Unless there's anything else, I think everybody needs to go eat their dinner. All right, thank you,
Right.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you guys.
definitely.
Thank you. Good job.
Thank you. We appreciate it.